Good evening, Namaste. Today, I welcome you all to a very special program based on the Asala festival, our Guru Purnima Day. Before we start the session, let us do our universal invocation. Oh. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Come back. So today there is this special program on importance of Asala festival for our members of the TS. And today's speaker would be Brother Shiva Dasaji. He is the president of Kerala Theosophical Federation. I'll have a brief introduction about him before he starts the talk. Brother Shivadasji joined the TS in 1982 at Alleppey. His wife and son, Jayashree and Vishnu, both family members are also members of TS. He is a member from Annapurni Lodge, Alleppey. Retired from Indian Forest Service in 2013 and currently serving as President Kerala Theosophical Federation. Today's special theme is importance of Asala festival for members of TS. I welcome you, sir. Thank you for giving your time to us on such a auspicious day to talk about Asala festival.
Thank you, Swarlina ji. Can I start now?
Yes. You can start.
I can start. Okay, thank you. Dear brothers and sisters, our topic of discussion today is the importance of Asala festival for the members of the Theosophical Society. I have noted down my thoughts on this subject so that we can join together to understand the importance of this very, very significant day. So I shall bring before you some of the points which came to my mind when I thought about this subject to be presented before you. I wish that the divine blessings of Lord Buddha and the celestial hierarchy of divine adepts be upon all of you and upon the whole world on this auspicious day of Ashada Purnima or Vyasa Purnima or Guru Purnima, also known as Asala festival in our theosophical circles. I express my sincere gratitude to Brother Pradeep Mahapatraji and Sister Suralina Mohandiji for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with you on this occasion of great spiritual significance. Okay. As all of you know, in Lord Buddha's life, 2 full moon days are very significant. Vaishakha Purnima, also known as Vesak festival or Vesak Purnima, and Ashada Purnima, the Asala festival or Asala Purnima. 2500 years ago, all the significant events of that glorious life occurred on Vaishakha Purnami days. His birth as baby Siddhartha, his attainment of Buddhahood, and his departure from physical body. His whole life resembled the soft rays of the full moon, so mild, so divine, and yet so energizing. Meek as a lamb, yet he was the ruler of men. The Bodhisattva Gautama attained Buddhahood as Lord Gautama Buddha, the first to attain that stupendous height from our humanity, thus adorning himself as the Buddha of the fifth root race, after Lord Buddha Kashyapa of the fourth root race. When he attained Buddhahood, Lord Gautama entrusted the position of the world teacher to his successor, Lord Maitreya, the present Bodhisattva. After many thousands of years, when the sixth root race is firmly established as the next stage of human evolutionary progress, Lord Maitreya would adorn the crown of Buddhahood in that far distant future. It is said by our great masters that even from the time of the beginning of the evolutionary progress in this Kalpa, humanity was always under the guidance and protection of the divine rulers and the divine teachers, who are the custodians of the perennial wisdom necessary for such progress. That gives us a clear indication of the nature of our progress and duties when we reach the culmination of human evolution and endowed with superhuman powers and responsibilities to guide and teach the humanity of the future Kalpa. Those who understand that stupendous journey and work for that purpose with the heart and mind are helped by the divine masters in their efforts. The founding of the Theosophical Society was one such effort by the great masters to help those who wish to follow the path of discipleship and beyond, climbing up the ladder of evolution. So even thousands of years before the founding of the Theosophical Society, and also after many thousands of years from now, the masters will continue to do their effort to find out those who are willing to follow their footsteps to help the future humanity to escape or to tide over their miseries in life. So that is the work going on even from time immemorial, and it will go on continuing for centuries to come, or maybe millions of years to come. That is going to happen, or that is always happening. The secret doctrine teaches us that there are three streams of evolutionary progress in the development of a human being upon this globe, our Earth. The physical evolution, the intellectual evolution, and the monadic or spiritual evolution. Though three streams are mentioned separately, all the three unfolds concurrently. As far as the subhuman level is concerned, the evolution is primarily physical, whereas in the human stage, it is both physical and intellectual during the initial period, but progresses into intellectual and spiritual when the evolutionary cycle rolls on from planet to planet. It is stated that the spiritual evolution of consciousness continues even beyond the culmination of the human stage of development, when he emerges as a superman or an adept. Theosophy teaches that Buddhahood stands far beyond the level of adeptship along the hierarchical ladder, with its upwinding rungs disappearing into the misty heights of the cosmic vastness. No matter how consummately high the status of the Dhyani Chohans may be, in comparison to the human stage of evolution, These lofty beings are pursuing their evolutionary development by participating in the unfolding of the divine plan at the cosmic level of manifestation. This is a very important teaching which is given to us by our studies from the Theosophical books. That is, even beyond the stage of human evolution, the unfolding of consciousness continues. Not only even beyond the stage of human evolution, even beyond the stage of the solar logos, it continues. That is what is stated. Even beyond the stage of the solar logos, this unfolding of unconsciousness continues. I have read a piece of, I have got a piece of information from a book which I have read recently, and that is, it is stated that it is stated in that book about another book. That book is known as Pranava Vada. So it is written by Gargyayana, Rishi Gargyayana in Pranava Vada. He is narrating the same teaching. That he is narrating the same teaching, but a little bit of dramatic way. He is narrating it. That is the evolution of consciousness or unfolding of consciousness is presented here in a dramatic manner. What he says is that, I shall read it. One sun and 7 planets constitute a Brahmanda, and that is ruled by Ishvara. 7 such Brahmandas constitute a Jagat, and that is ruled by Hari. 1,000 Jagat constitute a Vishwam, that is ruled by Hara. 1.5 crores Vishwam constitute a Mahavishwam, that is ruled by Parameshvara. 20 lakh crore Mahavishwam constitute a Loga, that is ruled by Paramatma. 1 crore Loga constitute one Mahaloga, it is ruled by Maheshwara. 10 crore Mahaloga is known as Samsara, it is ruled by Mahavishnu. This is the narration which Gargyayana gives in Pranavavada. It appears to be a dramatic way of saying that the consciousness, unfolding of consciousness continues even beyond the stage of the solar logos. You all remember the statement which we read in our book, that the soul of man is immortal, and the future is the future of a thing whose growth and splendor has no limit. Yes, exactly. Growth and splendor has no limit. And that is also stated in Light of Asia by Sir Edwin Arnold. Very beautifully it is written, I quote, "Veil after veil will lift, but there must be veil upon veil behind." That is, veil after veil will lift, but there must be veil upon veil behind. That is from Light of Asia. That is why it is stated that, once again I read that sentence, no matter how consummately high the status of the Dhyani Chohans may be, in comparison to the human stage of evolution, these lofty beings are pursuing their evolutionary development by participating in the unfolding of the divine plan at the cosmic level of manifestation. Law of sacrifice is the fundamental law of manifestation. Subhuman beings follow this law unconsciously along the evolutionary path, whereas human beings are endowed with the mind principle to analyze and assimilate the workings of this universal law consciously and mold their life accordingly. Progress along the path is possible only by giving and not by taking alone. The greatest renunciation is taken at the threshold of nirvana, the bodhisattva renunciation, in order to help and lift the toiling masses who struggle in the mire of misery and death. This is the great sacrifice that the Bodhisattva undertakes, spending thousands of years out of his superhuman compassion and love for his younger brothers. And when at the end of that holy struggle, he attains Buddhahood, his close disciple and successor assumes the duties so that humanity is never orphaned in its evolutionary journey. We observe Asala festival as the anniversary of the sermon given by the Lord Buddha of his first public announcement of the great discovery to his disciples. This is famously known as the Dharmachakra Pravartana Sukta, also briefly known as the turning of the wheel of law. For the first time after his enlightenment, he expounded the middle path of the Buddha and taught the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. The wheel of law and the wheel of supreme righteousness is one and the same. The middle path proclaims the significance of righteousness when one is tossed between raga and dvesha by the circumstances one faces in daily life. Daily life is the testing laboratory where one is experimenting with all sorts of experiences, life after life, which karma brings before him to make him self-reliant and wise. In order to achieve the desired result, one has to avoid extreme levels of discipline as well as extreme levels of carelessness in dealing with one's own bodies or vehicles of consciousness. No man is expected to do more than his capacity, but it is his absolute duty to put in his every effort to increase that capacity. Soon after his enlightenment, Lord Buddha remained silent for a long time because he was well aware of the limitations of language he has to use to convey his experiences to the people around. Days and seasons rolled on, and he was still silent. Then it is said that the powers that mold the destiny of humanity and all life upon this planet took decision to appeal to the Lord to speak and help the suffering, ignorant masses. The reason why Lord Buddha fell silent is very elegantly depicted by Sir Edwin Arnold in his world-famous work, The Light of Asia, as follows. I quote, Om Amitaya, measure not with words the immeasurable, nor sink the string of thought into the fathomless. Who asks doth err, who answers yes, errs, say not. So that is very beautifully depicted the reason why Buddha fell silent. Not only Buddha, every teacher who are conscious of the limitations of the language, they become silent. But when the compassion and the love and compassion within them actually will not permit them to keep silence for a long time. They have to do their service to those who are coming behind them. So they will do it. So that is why it is said, Om Amitaya, measure not with words the immeasurable, nor sing the string of thought into the fathomless. Who asks doth err, who answers errs, say not. But the whole nature was waiting eagerly for him to speak and teach. And that is also, whole nature was waiting for him to, eagerly waiting means actually the whole of nature actually, whenever anybody takes one step forward, the whole nature enjoys. That is what is, because the consciousness is only one. There is only one consciousness throughout the universe. So one step taken forward, that thrills the whole universe. So when one attains Buddhahood, the whole nature gets its that splendor of that thrill. It passes through nature. That is why it is said, but the whole nature was waiting eagerly for him to speak and teach. Listen these words from the voice of the silence. The voice of the silence narrates this point very clearly. In the voice of the silence, it is narrated. I quote, "No conqueror of sins," Guru is speaking to his disciple, "no conqueror of sins. Once that a Sovani means one who is treading the path, clearly studying the path. That means Rodapati. He is treading the path. He is on the stream. So no conqueror of sins. Once that a Sovani hath crossed the seventh path, all nature thrills with joyous awe and feels subdued. The silver star now twinkles out the news to the night blossoms. The streamlet to the pebbles ripples out the tale. Dark ocean waves will roar it to the rocks surf-bound. Sand-laden breeze sing it to the vales, and stately pines mysteriously whisper, "A master has arisen, a master of the day." It is a master has arisen, a master of the day. It is said in Voice of the Silence that a day means a Manvantara. A day stands for a Manvantara. It is not our day. It is the divine day. It is a master has arisen, a master of the day. That is, the whole nature thrills with that knowledge that the master has arisen. That is written in Voice of the Silence. And while Buddha gave his wonderful sermon in that royal garden along the banks of the river at the twilight time of the sinking sun on that Asala full moon day, who all heard those words, those divine words? In the Light of Asia, it is given as follows. I shall quote it from the Light of Asia. Given as Sir Edwin Arnold says, "A little of that large discourse I know, which Buddha spake on that soft Indian eve, that they who heard were more, lakhs more, crores more than could be seen. For all the devas and the dead thronged there, till heaven was emptied to the seventh zone, and uttermost dark hells opened their bars, and the daylight lingered past its time in rose-leaf radiance on the watching peaks, so that it seemed night listened in the glens, and the noon upon the mountains. The evening stood between them like some maid celestial, love-struck, rapt, the smooth-rolled clouds her braided hair, the studded stars, the pearls and diamonds of her coronal, the moon her forehead jewel, and the deepening dark her woven garments. Her close-held breath, which came in scented sighs across the lawns, while our Lord taught, and while he taught, who heard, though he were stranger in the land or slave, high caste or low, calm of the eye, his fellows talked, who crowded by the river, great and small, the birds and bees and creeping things, had sense of Buddha's vast embracing love, and took the promise of his piteous speech, so that their lives, present in the shape of ape, tiger, deer, bear, jackal, or wolf, foul feeding kite, pearled dove, peacock gemmed, squat toad, or speckled serpent, lizard, bat, fish fanning the river waves, touched meekly at the skirts of brotherhood with a man who hath less innocence than these, and in mute gladness knew their bondage broke, whilst Buddha spake these things before the king. So that is what is said in Light of Asia. That, the, the that is what we were talking on that. And while Buddha gave his wonderful sermon in the royal garden along the banks of the river at the twilight time of the sinking sun, on that Asala full moon day, who all heard those divine words? And what did he teach? He taught the whole philosophy of life, the goal of life, and the way to attain that goal by right steps in daily life for purification of vehicles and consequent expansion of consciousness. That is given as the Four Noble Truths. It is summarized as follows. Life is sorrow, cause of sorrow, ending of sorrow, and the Noble Eightfold Path. The first noble truth is the existence of sorrow. Sorrow is inherent in manifestation because manifestation is limitation. From the subtler levels of cosmic matter to the denser levels of physical plane, the degree of limitation increases, so is the intensity of sorrow. Man being a Saptavarna means seven-petaled. Man being a Saptavarna, having existence in all the seven zones of nature, he has to pass through all the limitations until that time when he emerges victorious by his constant efforts. The second noble truth that Lord Buddha taught is the cause of sorrow. Trishna or desire is the cause of sorrow at the human stage of progress. Desire is the necessary driving force during the early part of man's progress along the path of involution or pravritti marga, when his lower self dominates over the promptings from his higher self. But after a prolonged journey, fanning over many lives, when he reaches the narrow gateway to the path of evolution or the Nivritti Marga, he hears the following warning. In the voice of the silence, it is said, I quote, "The name of this hall is the hall of learning. In it, thy soul will find the blossoms of life, but under every flower a serpent coils." So that warning he hears. That means the path is a very risky path for the sadhaka. Along this path, while the journey progresses, he learns that he has to tranquilize his emotional nature in order to escape from the never-ending embrace of sorrow. There Lord Buddha reveals his third noble truth, the ending of sorrow. And while the sadhaka or the pilgrim, with his adamantine determination or virya, progresses further along the path, he transforms his sorrow into the form of a soft and soothing melody of universal compassion. So this is a very strange phenomenon which takes place to the ordinary human being when he attains to the goal of his progress. That is, the sorrow within him is transformed into the form of the universal compassion, love and compassion. Sorrow is transformed into the form of the universal love and compassion. That is why it is said that the man of sorrow has emerged as the man of wisdom. And it is a very forceful assurance is also given to every one of us after that. If one man can do this spiritual alchemy, then any man can do it. That is the most assuring sentence. It is stated in one of our books. If one man can do this spiritual alchemy, then any man can do it. And SPB also says, along with that, she says, but deserve it first and then desire it. We have to deserve it first and then desire it. In most of the cases, we desire first without becoming deserving for that. So deserving is the first step we have to do. Then, of course, without asking for it, without desiring for it, the whole thing will appear before us. But being deserved is the first step we have to follow. So deserve it first and then desire it. Then, in the fourth noble truth, Lord Buddha teaches the way to that submit. That is the noble eightfold path, which treads to bliss immeasurable and fathomless. The deserving sadhaka or pilgrim progresses along the path, the steps of which are described by the Lord as follows. That is, right belief or right perception, right thought, right speech, right action, right means of livelihood, right exertion, right remembrance, right meditation. These are the 8 steps which are given by the Lord Buddha. And here the word right means samyak. Samyak means harmonious. Samyak means harmonious, and the right belief, that means samyak darshana, right thought, samyak sankalpa, right speech, samyak bhashana, right action, samyak karma, etc. So these things are given by the Lord Buddha for progressing along the path. This is the middle path of self-sacrifice, which Lord Buddha taught on that wonderful Asala full moon day, when the whole of nature stood in rapt attention. This law of sacrifice was proclaimed by the Lord himself in a still far off remote period when he came as Lord Vyasa. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says the same principle of, that is the law of sacrifice, is mentioned, which he mentioned on the Asala full moon day. Actually, he mentioned the same thing when he came as Vyasa long before. Now you can see that in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 slokas which says the same thing. I shall read it. Annad bhavanti bhudani parjanyad anna sambhava yajnad bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagadam brahma nityam yajne pradishtidam. So this is that slogas. Now let us listen to the last 2 sentences, that is last portion, that is tasmat sarvagadam brahma nityam yajne pradishtidam. So what does it mean? Tasma Sarvagadam Brahma means the whole of manifestation is pervaded by the ultimate reality, that is Brahma. Sarvagadam means the whole. Everything is pervaded by the ultimate reality, that is Brahma. And Nityam Yajne Pradishtidam means it is rooted eternally in sacrifice, divine sacrifice. The whole manifestation is eternally rooted in divine sacrifice. So when the eternally divine sacrifice is the basis of manifestation, when we realize that, so it is very clear that for us also the path of progress is only through sacrifice. There is no other way to the path of bliss. So in human nature, sacrifice is manifested as love and compassion. That is the path of the holy masters. That is the path of the holy masters of wisdom. And we have to follow their footsteps in order to attain to that state of eternal bliss. That is the message of this Asala festival for all of us. So this is the sum of my speech, which I have noted down. So I think I should stop here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All.
Thank you so much. It was a short but very detailed oriented talk on this Asala festival. You made all of us remember the the teachings of Buddha, the the path for goodness, the path for inner journey. And I think it's a great message on this great day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your deliberation. And we normally would not like to do any question, answer, or discussion further after this
Thank you.
thoughtful deliberation. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, ma'am.
We
Thank you.
close this
Thank you all.
session with a prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukhabhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
thank you.
much, all of
Thank you.
you. Yeah,
All
we'll
good,
close
good
the
day.
session today.